Hey, what's going on, guys? Porter here. Today we're going to take a look at the Warzone patch note that was released today. It was a pretty big patch note, really. I think it'll definitely kind of shake up the meta a little bit because the Cold War weapons, more specifically the Cold War assault rifles, were ridiculously fast movement speed wise, and strafing speed was just so fast. People were using it as a secondary, and it was causing a lot of trouble. But it looks like they put a stop to that, and it really needed some kind of nerf and some kind of tweaking. So I think they did a pretty good move on that part. But let's go ahead and take a look at the rest of the patch notes here. So the first part here, they changed the ground loot, the street sweeper. They removed a lot of the variations of the street sweeper, and then they added different variants of the Howard 77 in. So it just looks like they flip flop shotguns as far as ground loot there. Then they did some bug fixes. The main one here is probably the fix additional map locations of Verdansk that allowed players to reach out of bounds area in certain locations. So that was definitely a problem. So it looks like they fixed that. Hopefully, that fixed it completely. And looks like there's an attachment issue right here for these specific weapons. They were having issues with the ADS move speed and firing move speeds decreased with the tactical and SAS and Spitsnaz stocks rather than increase it. I didn't know that was going on, but it looks like they fixed that. So that's a good little addition. Then as far as the weapon bouncing here, it looks like they tweaked the AMAX a little bit. It looks like they nerfed it, but they didn't nerf it to the ground, which is a good thing. They just kind of made a minor change to it, so it's not, you know, ridiculously strong. I know a lot of people love this gun as their medium and long range, so it's a good thing they didn't nerf it to the ground. So it looks like it's still a good gun. All they did was minimum damage decrease from 32 to 31. And as far as the FARA, they did a little bit to this one too. The headshot multiplier decreased from 1.5 to 1.35, and base ADS move speed decreased by 7%. So made it a little bit weaker and just kind of slowed down the ADS move speed. Then as far as shotguns, the street sweeper, the base hipfire spread increased, recoil increased slightly, and ADS speed reduced slightly. So they kind of changed that gun a little bit. And as far as submachine guns, it looks like they changed up the bullfrog a little bit. So maximum damage decreased from 34 to 32. Maximum damage range increased by 11%. Base move speed increased by 1%. Sprint out speed increased by 13%. So what they did here, they basically made the bullfrog just a little bit weaker, but they made the gun a little bit faster and increased the damage range further. So that's um, kind of an in-between change there. I wouldn't call it necessarily a buff or nerf. They basically just kind of tweaked the gun a little bit, and so I think that's a fair change right there. As far as the PPSH41, this gun definitely needed a buff for sure. I felt like this gun was kind of weak. So what they did, they changed a little bit. Maximum damage range increased by 4%. Then open bolt delay decreased by 80%. So that open bolt delay decreased by 80%. What that does, it'll shoot faster as when you pull the trigger on your controller or keyboard or your mouse or whatnot. When you pull the trigger on it, it'll start shooting faster. It won't have that delayed response. Okay. Let's see. Then they did some big changes to attachments. It looks like they changed the barrel to the combat recon barrel for the snipers. They increased the bullet velocity multiplier, increased by 12%. The ADS idle sway multiplier decreased by 33.3%. Then right here is kind of a minor change. It looks like it was just for the Cold War AK-47. They just improved the optic behavior of the axial 3 times. So just for that weapon, it looks like. Then as far as the stocks, this is the big part that they talked about. I also have a separate video where I talk about the movement speeds of the Cold War guns and what led up to the change of that because they were just ridiculously fast. So this is the big change right here. So um, the assault rifles, LMGs, shotguns, and snipers, the ADS firing multiplier decreased by 75%. That is huge. Then ADS move speed multiplier decreased by 10%. So it's going to significantly slow down those assault rifle for the Cold War assault rifles, and it should definitely eliminate the meta for using the Cold War assault rifles as a secondary. It should eliminate that because it's going to slow them down significantly, so they'll be more on par with the Modern Warfare assault rifles. Then they also made the change because they are ridiculously fast for some machine guns as well, but this top one here, they didn't nerf as much. That one's nerf 75, and for the SMGs it's 50%, but still pretty big hit there. And then as well as the other stocks, they made the change there too, with the SAS combat and Spitsnaz stock for these guns and for the SMG, and then for the tactical stock, same thing. They nerfed the movement speed basically of all the Cold War guns. But other than that, that pretty much sums up the patch notes for Warzone. I'll definitely leave a link down below if you want to check it out. But that's it. All right, guys, that sums up the Warzone patch notes that just released on May 7th. Definitely make sure to port her up, guys, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. See ya.